Hi, my name's Chris Brooks, and I want you to support driverless vehicles. So let me tell you guys right now, you're either ignoring the obvious problem in front of you or you're completely unaware of the potential of disaster that comes with letting people drive. Collectively, we can benefit mankind and save the lives of 30,000 people each year in this country, up to 1.2 million in the world, or we can continue to let them die from preventable traffic-related accidents, all for the privilege of keeping motorized vehicles just the way they are. And I'll admit right away I love to drive, but for as much as I gush on loving driving, it's not a skill everybody possesses. Safe driving goes beyond passing the basic driving test. Any fool can sit behind a wheel and press the switches and buttons enough to eventually get a license. But what happens when you add a cell phone, noisy dogs or kids, large soda that just fell out of your cup holder onto your carpet, or you're stuck on the freeway for a 2-hour commute, already tired from the day, trying to keep your eyes open, inching along in stop and go traffic? What if I told you there was a way to save you from all these troubles that I mentioned? During my speech, I will provide evidence that supports my position that self-driving vehicles will reduce traffic-related deaths, eliminate road rage, and reduce congestion. First, I want to demonstrate how deadly it is to let humans drive cars. Second, I'm going to show you how delaying implementation of self-driving vehicles is a public health crisis. And finally, I want to review how self-driving cars will save lives and improve lifestyles. So a lot of people do die from car crashes. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, their most recent report, reports that in America, more than 32,000 fatal crashes occurred in 2015, causing more than 35,000 deaths. Also, these crashes created more than 2.4 million injuries. The Traffic Safety Administration studies show that only 2% of those were actually from vehicle problems. The rest were from driver-related problems. So now that I've demonstrated to you how many people die annually from car crashes, let me show you how vehicle crashes should be considered a public health crisis. Car crash fatalities are 1/4 of the total unintentional injury deaths that the CDC reports each year. The Center for Health Statistics, in its 2016 report, reported that unintentional injury deaths are the number 4 cause of death in the United States, between respiratory diseases and strokes. Dominic Rush, in his 2017 article in The Guardian, noted that driverless vehicles would be a way of fixing that driverless vehicles don't come with the human fallibilities normal people have. Yet computers don't get tired, they don't drink, they don't take drugs, and they don't get distracted or get road rage. And once people realize the convenience and safety of a driverless vehicle, supporters say choice should be obvious. Another example, National Safety Council in their 2012 report, Distracted Driving and the Brain, part of the Great Multitasking Lie, shows that the human brain cannot multitask well between hands-free driving and cell phone usage. The average person will get a reaction time slower than someone who is legally drunk. In fact, 21% of all accidents are caused by cell phones or unintended deaths. Visual processing decreases when the brain needs to listen and answer sentences. That's called inattention blindness. I actually, in part of my infographic, have a grid that shows how much of the brain actually decreases in usage. And I will include that at the end of the speech. The human brain slows the reaction time from switching between 2 thinking exercises, which would be driving and answering the cell phone, versus switching from a thinking and non-thinking exercise, which would be walking and chewing gum. And now the New York Times has reported in their 2017 article, A Public Health Crisis We Can Fix, that car crashes are a public health crisis. Then delayed action from government and the public is tantamount to the death rate being a payoff for the convenience of human driving. Now that we've reviewed that the human brain is limited in its capacity to multitask, and that the current driving technology has such a high death rate, I want you to join me in promoting the use of self-driving vehicles to save and enhance lives. I have a small infographic with me that would actually show the implementation of driverless vehicles and how they would help people. Quickly, it shows the first stage, which we are already in, most important being that new mobility models will begin to emerge. Instead of buying one car for all situations, you will actually be renting cars that are specific to the situation that you're in. If you're a solo commuter, you get a one-seat car. If you're one of the people who decide to go off-road on average of 3 times a year, those 3 times a year, you'll get a car that's capable of going off-road. Otherwise, you will basically either rent a car or you'll have a sedan that is used by multiple people in your family or community. Also, it'll change how after sales and service are done. As time continues on, the insurance will go to the car, not the driver. And so manufacturers, to keep their insurance up, will demand that better servicing be done to the vehicles. And that if you do your own servicing of your own vehicle, you will actually be carrying greater liability. And that supply chains will be redefined through robotics and cars. And in the higher stage, you'll see that vehicles will save up to 50 minutes on average a day for commuters who would be otherwise driving. They'll be able to relax in their vehicles, take a nap, watch TV, read. It'll turn into a mini living room. Your parking spaces will be reduced. Right now, parking spaces take up 30% of commercial buildings. With not owning as many cars and with cars being used by multiple people, they won't need to park as many cars. Therefore, those spaces can be turned into more commercial space or more city housing. Vehicle crashes will decline by 90%, saving billions of dollars each year, and lives, up to 190 billion each year. And as the AV technology develops, you'll see that the driverless car will be the stepping stone to a new evolution between humans and artificial intelligence, stepping up into the next stage of evolution. So one thing that I always liked about it too is that you will get people who otherwise wouldn't be able to drive, senior citizens, underage drivers, who will actually become passengers and be able to get more mobility in the world, which is something that the Business Insider and 8 Ways of Self-Driving Cars Will Improve Our Lives mentions. And you'll actually be able to save a lot of money. That collected car ownership groups may save a driver up to 80% in car ownership costs. So today I explained how self-driving vehicles will save lives by reducing unintentional injury deaths from motor vehicle accidents by 90%. I reviewed the costs of humans driving and the benefits of having smarter vehicles with better reaction time, saving lives, time, and money. The longer we wait to implement driverless vehicles, the more we are saying it's okay, so that others can have the privilege of sitting in stop-and-go traffic and spending an average of 335 hours each year stuck behind a steering wheel. Thank you for your time and attention regarding this important issue.